everybody, welcome back to Benton Homestead's office. Today is the first in a series of upcoming short single topic blogs. I have been talking about doing this for a while and I'm finally starting to get some time to sit down and write them. I feel compelled to share little helpful bites of our experiences to help shed some light on certain mysterious aspects of Japan's visa, business, or real estate processes as we go through these ourselves so we can share them with you. Today, let's take a close look at the real estate acquisition tax. Clearly, this is a pretty dry subject, so I'll do my best to keep this short and informative and maybe a little bit entertaining. So, as usual with my more word and content heavy Japan data blogs and videos, I've popped over here to the blog. So if you prefer to read your content, you can go over to the blog and just read this yourself, or you can follow along here on the video with me. If you've been following our story, you know that we've purchased two properties in rural Japan. The first, a house abandoned for 10 years, which we bought for 1 million yen, which at that time the exchange rate was just about 7,500 US dollars. And that house is now earning income as Benton Guesthouse rental. The second property we purchased was a former inn, which is where I am now, abandoned for 40 years, and this house came with two additional small detached parcels of land for 2.8 million yen, and the exchange rate at that time means that the purchase was right about 18,000 US dollars. This is the house that we live in. 1 year after purchasing each property, we received a bill in the mail for the real estate acquisition tax. First of all, what is the real estate acquisition tax? According to the tax office, it is a one-time tax levied by the prefecture where the real estate is located on the acquirer of the real estate. And what is real estate acquisition? Again, according to the tax office, it refers to the acquisition of ownership of real estate, whether for a fee or free of charge. Furthermore, it does not matter whether the reason is sale, exchange, gift, assignment, donation, in-kind contribution to a corporation, construction, specific bequest, property division, termination of agreement, including mistakes, land reclamation, or land developed by drainage. So basically, real estate acquisition tax is a tax applied to people who purchase or acquire by any means a property. I got that information by translating one of the documents that came in the mail with our real estate acquisition tax slips. We purchased our first property in May 2023, so we received our first real estate acquisition tax slips in April 2024. That envelope contained 4 slips of paper. Evan was able to translate that the bill was for purchasing property. Since we had purchased a total of 4 parcels of land, we assumed that one slip was for each parcel and did not do any further translation. However, we had assumed incorrectly and we accidentally double paid. As you can see in this very clearly written note that we apparently did not translate, each property owner receives a tax bill in full, and it's up to the co-owners to decide amongst themselves who pays the bill. So since Evan and I purchased our property with 50-50 ownership, 2 of the 4 slips were for Evan and 2 of the 4 slips were for me, but only 2 of the slips had actually needed to be paid. This is a picture of the actual slip that came with our real estate acquisition tax, and you can see it says, "Important, double tax payment, please note. Those who jointly acquire real estate are liable to pay the full amount of real estate acquisition tax regardless of their share of property. Therefore, a tax notice for the amount owed to all co-owners will be sent to each co-owner. Please discuss with your co-owners and pay the tax using one of the tax notices." And below that, you can see that we paid all 4 slips because we have the red stamp of payment. In reality, we only needed to pay 2 of the slips, one for the value of the land and one for the value of the structure. But we received 4 slips in total as there were 2 duplicate slips per owner. We received a letter in the mail the following month explaining that we had overpaid and very clear instructions for how to request a refund to be direct deposited back into our Japanese bank account. And a fun little side note, if you're not aware, in Japan, utility bills and taxes are typically paid at your local convenience store. That's part of the store's service. Payments are usually made in cash yen, so each month we go to the local Family Mart or the Lawson with our little slips to pay internet and electricity, and water bills are paid every 2 months. So we take and pay our tax bills in the same way. Now that it's been 1 year since we purchased our second property, we just received the real estate acquisition tax slips in the mail for this house. And again, we received 4 slips, only 2 of which need to be paid. 2 are for the second property land, and 2 are for the second property structure. These are our 4 slips here. For the purchase of our 1 million yen house, our real estate acquisition tax was 34,100 yen, which is about 238 US dollars. That's 19,300 yen for the land and 14,800 yen for the structure. Then, for our 2.8 million house, our real estate acquisition tax was 38,400 yen, which is approximately 268 US dollars. And that was 26,800 yen for the land and 11,600 yen for the structure. I feel like it's important to note that this is a one-time tax as opposed to our annual property taxes, which were actually even lower than these prices. But you can see that the amounts don't seem to correlate to the purchase price, so let's find out why by translating this additional helpful document included in the envelope. According to this document, the way Ehime Prefecture calculates the cost for the real estate acquisition tax is to multiply the value of the acquired real estate by the tax rate percentage. The value of the acquired real estate is the price assessed based on the fixed asset assessment standards established by the Minister of Internal Affairs and Communications. So it seems that the value is not related to the purchase price necessarily, but rather the assessed value on record. The tax rate percentage is variable based on whether it's land or a structure, and if a structure, whether it's residential or non-residential. So you can see on the graph above that the tax rate for bare land is 3%, and the tax rate for a building, if it is residential, is also 3%, which is what we purchased and paid. At this point, I should mention again that I am not an expert in this subject by any means. I am simply sharing our experience and the information provided to me in hopes that it will be helpful to others. Please keep in mind that the real estate acquisition tax rates and regulations probably vary by city or prefecture, as with many things in Japan. So thanks for joining me today. This one was short and sweet. I plan to make more short single topic videos like this in the future. Some ideas I have are how we found our Japanese houses, how to pay utility bills in Japan, how we opened a Kabushiki Gaisha Japanese corporation, the best banks for international travel, how to keep a U.S. mailing address while residing in Japan, and what is the affidavit of residence and why is it required for non-residents to purchase real estate in Japan. But of course, there's all kinds of little single topic videos that we could make, so please let me know if you have any specific topic requests by leaving a comment below. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.